Welcome back, everybody, to another I'm glad I'm not in any of these guys' shoes episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. That's right, today we're jumping into courtroom to witness 3 individuals get sentenced to a lot of time. And they're not all getting sentenced together, they're actually 3 totally different cases. And of course, I'll give you a little intel on the situation when we get there. Also, today is a very important day for me. It's my oldest twin daughter's birthday. Well, not exactly today, but close enough for y'all to go ahead and wish a little happy birthday down below in the comment section. No pressure though, if you don't want to, you ain't got to. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my beautifully assorted playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Alright, first up, like I said, I'm going to give you a little intel before we get into courtroom, but the individual today is going to be sentenced for killing 3 people, and what he did to them is just monstrous. I mean, he admitted to eating one of their hearts.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes.
Was that a slick back mullet I just seen? Couldn't have been. Hello, Your Honor.
All right, were your answers unanimous?
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah, definitely unanimous. Only took us about 7 minutes.
Verdict as follows. Special issue number 1. Do you find from the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that there is a probability that the defendant would commit criminal acts of violence that would constitute a continuing threat to society? Answer. We, the jury, unanimously find from the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the answer to special issue number 1 is yes.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Easily.
Special issue number 2. Taking into consideration all of the evidence, including the circumstances of the offense, the defendant's character and background, and the personal moral culpability of the defendant, do you find that there is sufficient mitigating circumstance or circumstances to warrant that a sentence of life imprisonment without parole rather than a death sentence be imposed? Answer. We, the jury, unanimously find that the answer to special issue number 2 is no.
Alright, I know some of that probably went in one of y'all's ear and not the other. But the jury pretty much agrees that he does not deserve life without parole. There's no kind of mitigating evidence that deters them from giving him the death penalty, which is pretty much like a green light, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a poll has been requested, so I'm going to call out your juror number and I'm going to ask you if this is your verdict. Juror number 3, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is this your verdict?
Juror number 6.
Ms. Fregoso?
Yes.
Juror number 17, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Me personally, I would have held every last one of them that chuckled at me in contempt.
Juror number 6.
Ms. Fregoso?
Yes.
Juror number 17, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 34, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 46, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 74, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 89, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 93, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 96, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 113, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror
Man,
131,
look at that.
is this your
It
verdict?
is a slick back mullet.
Juror 159, is this your verdict?
That's what we call the Cadillac
Defense
Coupe
counsel, is there any
Dupree.
reason why a sentence should not be pronounced? Any legal reason?
No legal reason, Your Honor.
Nope. Commence with the smoke.
Therefore,
Oh my goodness, these guys back here are a dynamic duo! Homeboy ain't going nowhere with these twin drop-top cyborgs behind them. Are they twins? They gotta be twins, man. Damn, maybe not identical all the way, but close enough, right?
therefore, Jason Allen Thornburg, you have been
here we
adjudged
go.
by a jury to be guilty of capital murder, and the juror has answered the special issues, making it mandatory that your punishment be death. Therefore, this court sentences you, Jason Allen Thornburg, to death.
Yep.
The clerk of this court shall no
Smell it.
later than the 10th day after this court enters its
Lifetime
order
of smoke
setting the
right
date for
there.
execution, issue a warrant under the seal of this court for the execution of
What
the
happens when
sentence
you
of
eat
death,
people's
which
hearts?
shall be directed to the Director of the Correctional Institutions Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice at Huntsville, Texas, commanding the Director to proceed at the time and place named in the order of execution to carry the same into execution. This sentence shall be executed at any time after the hour of 6 p.m. on the day set for the execution. by intravenous injection of a substance or substances in a lethal quantity sufficient to cause death. And until
that's scary
you, Jason,
sounding, man.
Are dead. Such execution procedure
Really
to
happy
be
not to
determined
be in that
and
guy's
supervised
shoes.
by the Director of the Correctional Institutions Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Otherwise
The judgment
known
of
as
conviction and
Smokeville.
sentence of death are subject to automatic review by the Court of Criminal Appeals. No date shall be set for the execution of sentence until after receipt by the clerk of this court of the mandate of affirmance of the Court of Criminal Appeals.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. He's going straight to death row, and over there in Texas. Texas seems to move on their death penalties a lot quicker than other states. Now for the next case, we're going to witness an individual get sentenced for a cold case murder from 1990. Not to mention rape and a few other charges. And why did it take so long for him to get caught, you might be asking? It's because his DNA finally popped up in a nationwide check. And that's how it is with these old cases. Sometimes, man, it just takes, some DNA to pop up out the woodworks.
Court finds that under Price versus State, Georgia Supreme Court case that was decided April 19, 2022, the court does find that that is controlling. So, looking at the official code of Georgia annotated under sections 17-10-1 and 17-10 through 17-10-21, the court can look at aggravating factors for sentencing, which include the nature of the crime, the defendant's prior criminal history, and other factors that should result in harsher punishments. In terms of looking at the nature of the crime, such as the vile, horrible, and inhumane offense, crimes involving torture, depravity of mind, or aggravated battery can be considered aggravating. The court can also look at the amount of harm to the victim. In this case, Mr. Perry, the jury found you guilty on all 14 counts. In terms of the amount of harm to the victims, you stabbed, strangled, and tried to smother Pamela Sumter. You raped her. If the crime resulted in the death or serious injury of multiple victims, in this case, the jury found that you caused the death of both John and Pamela Sumter in a brutal and malicious manner.
Smoke
Also,
'em.
the court consider the use of a deadly weapon. In this particular case, if a deadly weapon was used in the commission of a crime, this can also be an aggravating factor, such as a knife when used offensively.
Let this sit in, all you cold case criminals out there always looking behind your back. One of these days, I'd say a good portion of y'all are gonna get caught. Your day's coming, whether through the court system or whatever way fate wants to bring it. I promise it always does. So it's best, honestly, to just go ahead and confess your crime, man. Go ahead, turn yourself in.
A pillow, which when used offensively, and hands and arms when used offensively, can be used as deadly weapons.
Yeah.
The court can also consider your prior criminal history. There was testimony that was presented in terms of numerous family violence convictions along with battery convictions. Other factors that the court can consider is a lack of remorse. A lack of remorse or an unrepentant attitude can be considered as an aggravating factor. Mr. Perry, you testified today that you have never hurt anyone, which is inconsistent with the jury's verdict. So as such, in the matter of the state of Kenneth Perry, under indictment number 24-CR-2608, the court will sentence you as to count 1, malice murder. I will sentence you to life. As to count 2, malice murder, I will sentence you to life to run consecutive to count 1. As to count 3, felony murder, that is vacated by operation of law. As to count 4, felony murder, that is vacated by operation of law. As to count 5, rape, I will sentence you to life to run consecutive to count 2.
And them Georgia
As to
boys
count
probably waiting
6,
for him,
aggravated
man.
assault, it will merge with counts 1 and 2. As to count 7, aggravated
Smell it.
assault, it will merge into counts 1 and 2. Count 8, aggravated assault, I will sentence you to 20 years to serve in custody to run consecutive to count 5.
I lost track.
Count number 9, aggravated assault, I will sentence you to 20 years to run consecutive to count number 8. As to count number 10, aggravated battery, I will sentence you to 20 years to serve to run consecutive to count 9. Count 11, aggravated battery, I will sentence you to 20 years to run consecutive to count 10. Count 12, possession of a knife during the commission of a felony, I will sentence you to 5 years to run consecutive.
It just
As
keeps
to
on
count
pumping.
13, possession of a knife during the commission of a felony, I will sentence you to 5 years to run consecutive to the other
Left,
counts.
right, side to side.
As to count 14, theft
Smoke
by
from every
taking,
angle.
I will sentence you 10 years to run consecutive to count 11, which I believe that is a total of 3 life sentences to run consecutive to each other plus 100 years. Mr. Perry, you have the right to seek post-judgment relief for your conviction of the crimes of malice murder, felony murder, rape, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, possession of a knife during the commission of a felony, and theft by taking. You can do this by either making a motion for a new trial in this court and/or filing an appeal to a higher appellate court. If you want to file a motion for a new trial or an appeal, then you will need to file that said motion or notice of appeal with the clerk of Superior Court of this county, DeKalb County, within 30 days.
I ain't gonna lie though, he took that 3 life sentences plus 100 to the chin like it was nothing, man. He was already ready. Alright, last but not least, we got James Wasson and his co-defendant, Roach. He ain't getting sentenced with him, but I had to show his picture, man. This is ridiculous. But this guy was on probation and parole showed up at his house to do a little search warrant or whatever. He ends up shooting at him and trying to flee the scene. Gets in a car accident along the way, man. So, yeah, you can only imagine he's probably gonna get smoked just like the last 2.
Hereby sentences the defendant to 10 years MSP with 3 years suspended. And in relation to counts 2, 6, 7, and 11, the court also sentences the defendant to 10 years MSP with 3 years suspended on each count.
Alright, so he already got 10 years twice with 3 suspended on each. But when he first heard it, he didn't get really too mad. He kind of zoomed into the paperwork, probably saying to himself, man, 7 years for shooting at the police, getting in a car accident and hurting someone, that ain't too bad. I can do that, man. For sure I can do that. I would have been saying the same thing. But keep in mind, he got sentenced to 2 10 years with 3 years suspended on each. The most important question here, is it going to be consecutive or concurrent? Because that would change it from 7 years to 14. And I believe he still has another charge to be sentenced for. But as of right now, look at him zoomed into that paperwork. He still has a little bit of hope.
Each of these counts shall run consecutive to each other. So the sentence
Not no more.
DC 17-267
Hope went out the window.
is 50 years MSP. No, I'm good. Is 50
Chill,
years
bro.
MSP.
You only make it worse. You only make it worse. But really, I mean, it can't get too much worse, you know, I guess.
James, sit up.
14 blickings, man. He's gone for a long time. Did he even sentence him to the other stuff yet?
In matter DC.
Oh, this is the other charge.
The court hereby sentences the defendant on each 3 counts to 10 years MSP with no time suspended. So the defendant is hereby sentenced to 277 to 30 years MSP.
Oh my.
The sentences DC 17-267 shall run concurrent
Oh my goodness.
To
This dude smoked him,
277.
but I can't give him to smoke, Bobby. I can't give this guy to smoke.
Concurrent to the Judge Newman's sentence in 1788. You will have 120 days from today's date to review my written judgment, to make sure my written judgment complies with my oral judgment in this matter.
Tunnel vision.
And the clerk will hand you
He
this.
cannot believe it.
And Your Honor, it also-
But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? What do you
DC
expect when you shoot at the police?
78.
He's lucky they didn't kill him on the spot.
And it shall run concurrent to that as well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, what do you expect when you shoot at the police? You gotta know that if you get caught, a thick smoke train's coming your way. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. And I do apologize about the little 5-day hiatus. I've been going through some major things over here in the home front, and be prepared. I got some big news coming your way. As always, though, until the next time, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.